Welcome to Umi and a Cup of Tea, the podcast from Umi where we discuss all things technology, marketing, hotels and travel. So grab yourself a tea, coffee or something stronger and we'll jump right in.
Hello and welcome back to Umi and a Cup of Tea. My name is Harry Ward and I'm joined today by Laurence Pratt, the Head of User Experience. How are you today, Laurence?
Really good. Looking forward to this one. Yeah. How are you anyway?
No, I'm very well, thank you. I've got a little bit of a cold, but I'm sure we'll power through.
Yeah, the odd sniffle there.
The odd sniffle. Cool. So today we're going to be speaking about how to create a compelling direct booking offer for hotels, and something which Laurence has been working on quite a bit, and even writing an ebook about it recently.
Yep. Sort of writing an ebook about the whole direct bookings process, and obviously if you want to increase your direct bookings, then at the heart of that is to have a compelling direct booking offer. So that's what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, so let's jump right in. So first question I have for you, Laurence, is firstly, why should you create a direct booking offer?
What happens when we get a direct booking is, or what happens when we don't get a direct booking if it comes from the OTA, is that we're paying a commission on that, which comes in at a cost, and we don't own any of the data, the customer data, so we don't get their email address. You've got no control over that guest experience in the build-up to the guest stay, and you don't have any contact with them afterwards either. So by creating a direct booking offer and getting that direct booking, we are able then to reduce the commission because we're not paying the OTA, which in turn increases the revenue. We then got access to that better data, which allows us to go on and personalise offers for the guests in the future, or personalise in the build-up to that stay. You're then able to build better relationships with them, increase the life cycle of that customer, and that's pretty good reason to make sure that you've got a compelling direct booking offer. I want to outline a little scenario of why it's important, because I know that sometimes hotels that clients that we talk to don't want to have a direct booking offer because they think it devalues their brand a little bit. But I want to paint a scenario where, imagine that somebody is a potential guest is in the process of researching hotels to stay, and they're typically going to the OTA. Let's say it's Booking.com, and they've shortlisted 3 or 4 hotels. What they're going to do next is they're going to quickly maybe see if they can check the actual hotel website, just to make sure that it's real, that it exists, and that the website meets the expectations that they've built up from what they've seen on the OTA. They're probably just going to scroll down the homepage a little bit, and then maybe at a push check out the rooms, have a look at the photos. But their intention is to go back to the OTA and make the booking there. The reasons for this are because usually they've made a lot of bookings through the OTA before. They've built up a lot of trust. They like that, there's free cancellation, etc. There's some, a lot of brand recognition for that OTA. If we're working with an independent hotel, it may be the first time that this guest has heard of you. So there's none of that trust there. So really, there's a lot of safety for that potential guest to book with the OTA, book with what they know. So really in that short window of time where they come and visit your website, this is where we've got an opportunity to say, well, here's a reason why you should book with us today, direct with the hotel. And that's why we need to make the direct booking offer compelling. It's got to appeal to them. And it's also got to be very visible so that they see it in that short space of time that they are on the website.
Definitely. So where and when, I know you've kind of gone over when, but where on your website do you think that you should display your direct booking offers so that it converts?
Well, we'll get on to that. That's what we'll discuss as part of how to create the offer. So there's a few steps before that. So before anybody begins to think about creating a direct booking offer, it's really important that you do some user research first, and we'll do a deep dive into user research in another episode, because there's quite a lot to go into. But the reason why, I mean, obviously you know there's lots of things that you could add to a direct booking offer, and you'll think, well, this will work. But the reason why it's important to do user research is because you're really focusing on making it very compelling for your most important customer, for that customer who, you know, there's an 80-20 rule. There's 20% of your customer base will bring in 80% of your business, or bring in 80% of your revenue, and so you really want to focus on making sure that your offering is appealing to them first. That's your priority. I mean, that's not to say that you can't focus on your other guest types, but in terms of, you know, strategically approaching increasing your direct bookings, it makes sense to focus on that ideal guest first. So part of that user research is identifying who that ideal customer is, and going through a process of creating a persona for them and a customer journey map, understanding how they go about making a booking. But we do user interviews with them, where we discuss what is important to them, and that's the part that really helps with this direct booking offer, is what is most important to them when they're making a booking, and that can be simply based on, you know, a few things. Is it value? You know, is it price that they're most sensitive to, or is it convenience? I mean, obviously, price is a massive thing, you know, but there's only so much that we can do in comparison to the OTA. A lot of, depending on your agreements with the OTA that you've got, you may not be able to charge less than them. So it's really important that you check your terms and conditions and your policy with them.
Would you say it's the most powerful of the direct booking offers that you can offer?
Well, it is, but it's the most obvious one. I think it's a given that if you're booking direct, you want it to be either the cheapest, the best rate, or at least on par with the OTA. Like I say, it's very difficult to go much cheaper than them. So really, you're looking at other areas where you can make your offer compelling. And so this is why it's important to really understand your ideal customer. What are they looking for? Are they looking for the convenience of maybe adding more things to do within that? So the convenience of compressing all those into one booking, whether it be meals or treatments, etc. Or is it the flexibility of being able to arrive and leave when they want, or the flexibility of being able to cancel? that sort of thing, or is it, are they looking at status, which is a very complex thing, but it might be that they they're more interested in the type of hotel that they're staying at and what that says to people, to their peers. So understanding that about your ideal guest can really help you look at what it is that you can offer and what you put into that direct booking offer.
Okay, brilliant. So what can you add to your direct booking offer?
We touched on it slightly, but let's look at the list of things that we can do. So obviously, best rate guarantee or rate parity is the first thing we should aim for. But I think from a guest's point of view, that's sort of the least. It's the most obvious. So they're almost expecting that. So getting that is important. But then it's what can we add on in addition. So there's the early check-in and late check-out. That whenever we've done user research in the past, that's quite an important one for guests. Quite often, if you're doing a direct booking, you can offer a free room upgrade. So again, that helps with that status. That's the person that's concerned with status. Having that room upgrade can really help with that. We can look at things such as like complimentary breakfast. Obviously, if you're staying the night, then most people will still be there in the morning. So a complimentary breakfast is really quite convenient, and it adds to the value as well. You can also look at complimentary dinners or meals, to really increase that value. But again, that sort of dependent on your ideal guest. Personalized welcome packs. So what's waiting for you in your room when you arrive. Bottle of wine, chocolates or fruit are the obvious ones. But if you can also offer sort of gifts that maybe come from local partnerships that you've made within the area. Depending on what other revenue streams you've got in the hotel, whether you've got a spa or any, leisure facilities, you might include a free treatment or something like that. Going back to the local partnerships again, and that's another episode that we'll look at is really looking at how we can leverage those local partnerships. You might be able to add a gift voucher for an experience in the local area. Again, by doing your user research and understanding what is bringing your ideal guest to your local area will help you understand what's going to be the most appealing offer that you can provide. So if it's like a local golf course or a major attraction, whether that be a theme park or something, really have a look at your local area and have create some ideas from that.
Would you say a hotel maybe with not these facilities, for example spa dates, they maybe find it harder to really introduce that direct booking offer? Because obviously hotels, maybe luxury hotels, have all of these things that they are able to offer. But for the hotels, for example, maybe the 3-star hotels who maybe don't have these, how are they able to implement these offers?
Like I say, that's where you can really look at your local partnerships. If you don't have any of those extra facilities, then the chances are that people might be just staying at your hotel for locational convenience, and therefore it's more likely that they will be staying in an area because they need to. It's close to something that they have planned the trip for. So understanding what that is and what is popular will help you to be able to create an offer that is compelling. So some other things then that maybe in most cases that people are now sort of seeing as a given. So because of what the OTAs offer is, that free cancellation, that's an important one that people like about the OTAs and why they keep going back to them. But also, you might want to make sure that people understand you've got free parking or free Wi-Fi. Particularly if, for business travelers, they might be driving, and it's important that they know that they can park, etc. And the Wi-Fi is important. Any other sort of work facilities, if you've got those and your ideal customer, your ideal guest is a business traveler, then make sure that you put those into your offer, whether that's free printing or whatever. I mean, that sounds quite old, but whatever business facilities you have, whether it's like a 24-hour receiving deliveries, that sort of thing can be quite important for business travelers. But if you and the last one, I suppose, is if your ideal guest is the leisure traveler and your main aim is to maybe increase the length of stay, then maybe offering an extra night if you pay for a certain number of nights, so a 3 for 2, for example. So I think there's lots and lots of things that you can think about including into a direct booking offer. That's just some of them, but
yeah. Cool. Yeah, I think all of those points are really valuable. So when the hotels place these direct booking offers on their site, how are we getting the client to go from the page to the call to action, and how does the hotel make this apparent that that's where the direct booking offer is, and you can see it and you're intrigued by it, and so where should the call to action almost be placed within the site?
So if we think about that scenario that I illustrated before, there's really, in that scenario, I mean, what a lot of hotels will think about their website and the guest or the potential guest arriving on their website. Most website owners think, this person has come to our website and they're going to read everything, all the careful things that we've written about us, all the details that we've put in. They're going to sit on my website and they're really going to understand what it's like, and then they're going to go and book. And that is rarely the case. They're in a fraction of a second. There's studies that have looked into this. In a fraction of a second, people will land on your website, see the above the fold content, and that's basically what you see on your screen when you land on the website, and they will make in under a second they will make a judgment about your hotel. And if they continue to scroll down the page, they won't read necessarily paragraphs of text, but they will scan the headings on your website. So it's always important to add headings and bullet points. Bullet points will be read more than paragraphs of text with, and if you can add icons to those bullet points, again, it helps get information across to them, without having to read so much text. So what I'm trying to say here is that you've really got to, time is of the essence. You're not going to get a lot of time. They're not going to spend half an hour on your website. They're literally going to scroll down the page, be absorbing images, maybe read a few headlines, maybe click through to the rooms page and see some images there, and then it's back to the OTA. So we've got to make it as obvious as possible.
So would that be adding it onto the landing page then? Would you say onto the front page?
Yes, definitely. So in the case if they might be typing in your hotel's address, URL, and coming to the home page. See, this is the different thing. If somebody is researching their journey and they're searching in Google hotels near X location or hotels near X attraction, then in that scenario, whatever page that you have on your website is optimized for that will come up into the Google search, and they'll click onto that. So they will be, that particular guest will be arriving on a different page to your homepage. In this scenario, because they've seen your hotel name on the OTA, they're probably just going to be typing in your hotel's name, and they'll be arriving at your homepage. So it's really important that your homepage is optimized for converting your ideal guest. So let's run through the different places where we can place that. So in that hero, above the fold, you can either have some CTA on your hero that mentions the direct booking offer, and maybe that whatever your, apart from the best rate guarantee and the rate parity, apart from that, what additional thing that you include in your offer, that should be also quite visible as well. What is unique, or what is the compelling essence to your offer should be visible. So having that in the hero is quite powerful. But also, the next one is if you've got a booking bar, so that's where people can add the dates to check availability. That's really important, and I would recommend that if you've got a booking bar, that it's visible above the fold when a guest lands on your page, and you can also then have that remain sticky to whatever part of the screen that is, whether it be the top or the bottom or even the side in some cases, and make sure that continues down the screen as the user scrolls down. So if you've got a booking bar, that communicates that you accept bookings, which is important. It used to be once upon a time that not all hotel websites did offer direct bookings. So
really,
yeah, in a long time ago. Well, yeah.
Was it over the phone then, I guess?
Oh yes. So hotels, you would call up a hotel, and it was essentially the OTAs made it easier for hotels to have a web presence or a booking facility online, and that is why hotel, rather than set up the infrastructure themselves, because it was complicated and unknown at that point, they would all jumped on to the OTAs because the trend was people were beginning to start to have the confidence to spend money online, and really because now it's such a powerful marketing platform, as in visibility, it's very it then becomes so reliant on it. But what comes with that is the fees. So you'll be surprised how many clients we had in the early days of Umi Digital that
hadn't used their online platform, I guess.
Yeah.
And utilised it. Wow.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
So the next one would be so speaking of sticky elements, we've got a sticky booking bar. On there, you might use a little label that says best rate guarantee, or why book direct, which then may then go, could be a link to a landing page that fully explains your offer. So, and also you could have another sticky bar, which is just aside from the booking bar, you might have a banner. You quite often see these on other websites, not hotels necessarily, but it might be the email sign up is just above the navigation in a thin strip. Maybe you could have one there that sort of fully explains what the offer is. We could look at pop-ups. Now, obviously, pop-ups are a bit like Marmite. People
love them or hate them. Yeah,
love them or hate them. Well, quite often people hate them, but they are very, very effective, and you can make them less hateable. Obviously, what people find frustrating about pop-ups when we've done user research is that they pop up immediately before
the site's even loaded sometimes.
Yeah,
I feel
before the user has had the chance to absorb, understand, see the landing page, and it can be very frustrating. So that I was explaining before that you've got this very short window of time, so you would be forgiven for thinking, well, let's get it up as soon as possible, but at the same time, in that short space of time, you don't want to frustrate them. So
I feel like you've got to make an impression as well.
Yeah. So there are ways in which you can time your pop-up to activate. So rather than doing it immediately, you may have it activated a certain distance as they scroll down the page, maybe 50%, or you may time it to be 20 seconds, 30 seconds, whatever. I think one of the most effective ones is on exit intent. So when a person's cursor goes up to the browser at the top of the browser window, presumably to either redirect to another website or another tab, your pop-up can detect that and pop up as it gets closer to the top, and I think that's quite an effective pop-up to have. And also, you could just have a very clear CTA as you scroll down the page. That's the last one. It's just very clearly saying, book direct today and get X, Y, and Z benefits.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. And then to test, obviously, the direct booking offers, what would you say that we could use?
Yeah, so I mean, well, first of all, it's important to say that you need to test your direct booking offer. Whenever you do something as critical as this, you want to know what is the most effective thing. So as we were explaining earlier, you're trying to find out what is most appealing to your ideal guest. Therefore, you might not get it right the first time. If you add a room upgrade as opposed to the complimentary breakfast, I mean, you've got an opportunity to add everything into your direct booking offer, but that may not be effective. So it may be that you find that one or two things work better than something else, and the way in which we can find that out is by doing A/B tests. And so an A/B test is essentially, you split your traffic. You could split it 50-50 and just test one thing, or you can do a multivariant test where you test more than one direct booking offer. So essentially you divide your traffic up evenly and send it to, however, let's say you're testing 3 offers. You have the control, which is the A. The control is basically effectively what is the state of your website.
Yeah, so it views the website or features a kind of original version.
Yeah, the original version, and then you add your variants. So then, if you've got a direct booking offer that offers a free upgrade, that would be your A. Your B. And then if you wanted to test more, then you'd have like C, which would be a complimentary breakfast. You can continue. You split it up. So let's say we've got three pages there. One that doesn't have an offer, one that has the room upgrade, and one has the complimentary breakfast. So you send 33% of the traffic to each. My maths is correct there. That's fine. Yeah. And then effectively, after a certain period of time has passed, in order for you to be able to run a valid test, that will depend on how much traffic you get. There are calculators for these sorts of things. Effectively, you'll be able to see which of those converts the best. And what that allows you to do then is to look at which conversion rate was the best, and then you can make a judgment as to then, well, this is what we will roll out across the site. So if you don't do that, then you're really sort of shooting in the dark. There could be a really effective feature to your offer that you're not discovering if you don't do any testing. And there are various different A/B testing platforms out there, but you can there is a free option as well, which is Google Optimize. So anybody can set that up and play around with that.
Yeah, definitely. And then so how would you say to adjust the online travel agents offering to kind of allow your direct booking offer to stand out over the OTA's offer?
Well, yes. So that's the important thing to remember. You can't, as we said at the beginning, the rate, the price, that's the main thing, but that's already going to be decided pretty much. You've not got a lot of wiggle room in most cases, so you might not necessarily be able to change that. And at the end of the day, you probably do want to have the OTA to have a good enough rate to be seen in the first place by the potential guest as they're researching on the OTA. But in terms of those additional benefits that you can add to your direct booking offer, you can make those better on your website by making them slightly less better. I don't want to say the word worse, but by looking at how you display those on the OTA. So, for example, let's take the...
So would you say it could be the same offer, but if the design and the display of the offer looks better, that could be almost more intriguing for a user?
Let me use the example of the early check-in and late check-out. You can create that difference by... So there's 2 ways you can do that. You can create an earlier check-in time on your side or a later check-in time on your side, or you could go into the OTA and your details on there and make the standard check-in and check-out times later. Or, you see what I mean? So you offer to people booking from the OTA a later check-in time and an earlier check-out time. So effectively, by booking direct without having to do anything, you're automatically creating a better offer on your website. So whatever decisions you make in terms of your direct booking offer is to really make sure that you've gone into your OTA and made sure that you can enhance that as much as possible by editing that within reason and within whatever agreement that you've got with them.
Yeah, perfect. Well, thank you very much for today, Laurence, and your insights into Hotelier's Guide into Direct Booking Offers. Definitely looking forward to your ebook as well. How's that getting along just before we finish up?
Its first draft is done.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of work still to be done on worksheets and checklists. So there'll be a lot of additional goodies to go along with it. So that's where I'm at the moment with that.
Do we have a final release date?
Oh no, you're really putting me on the spot. No, but it's the top of my list at the moment.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have a podcast on it, talking about it and going through it. So yeah, perfect. Well, thank you very much for your time today, Laurence, and thank you to everyone who's been listening in today. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Until next time, goodbye.